afternoon. Welcome back to another Iceman series segment. In this video here, I want to do a recap on my recent hunt on yesterday. I'm gonna walk you guys through on how I prepared for it and how it all unfolded. And also, I'm gonna share some bonus clips on my actual hunt. I actually videoed this hunt this time. Use a Tactacam, but the audio was terrible on my Tactacam, but I was able to capture the shot, everything. So what I want to do is I'm gonna walk you through it, not frame by frame, but I'm gonna go step by step and explain to how it all unfolded. So I'm gonna start off by saying I love hunting creek bottoms because when you have a location on your property that's a creek bottom where it goes down into like a little bowl, a lot of bucks, they will cruise that particular location just to get away from it all, to go from one location to the next to look for does. And in some cases, bucks will go up on top of a ridge to see if they can actually see a doe. If they can't smell them, they'll see if they can see a doe. But this creek bottom was real special, and I hunted it years ago, and I haven't hunted it since like '96, I believe. So what I did, I found a particular location. It's like an old road bed that was tied to the creek bottom, and on the other side of the road bed had a staging area, and then on the front side of the staging area and front side of that creek bottom, it goes up on top of a ridge where I normally hunt at. I've been hunting there for since the 90s, and I hunted there last year. So this year, what I decided to do, I took my Dragon Estrus and I put it in the dripper on this road bed, and I made a mock scrape and put that dripper there with my Dragon Estrus in it, and I put a camera on it, one of my wireless cameras. So I decided to try this particular spot this year because last year I had a really tough year last year because the does and the bucks, they were so sporadic, and they was coming up on this ridge during low shooting hours as well as nighttime. So I said, you know what? If I hunt this creek bottom, or if I put a camera on this creek bottom with some Dragon Estrus in it, I may get some daytime pictures. So starting last week, I was able to get some daytime photos of some shooters. So I said, okay, that's good. So I just watched the camera and watched the camera and watched the camera, didn't even hunt. And I hunted on a ridge top a couple of weeks ago, saw 4 does. It was a great encounter, but no bucks. The bucks stayed back in the staging area, and they did come out on top of the ridge about 11:30 at night. So I said, okay. So I decided to put, like I said, I put that camera and the Dragon Estrus in a dripper down on that road bed, right on the edge of the creek bottoms. So once I found out that one of my shooters, and check him out right here. Okay, he decided he wanted to come in during daylight. So I said, okay, we on to something. But I just didn't want to hunt that spot by him having just one picture of daylight. I wanted him to be consistent. So I said, okay, if he's consistent, then I'm gonna move in there and try it. So he went in. He came in on Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. He came on Wednesday, 8 something in the morning. Then he came back 3 o'clock. Then he came in Thursday, like 8 something, and came back like 4 something. I said, okay, that's a pattern. So I slipped in on Friday and put my climber in the middle of the creek bottom. It's like a big old huge funnel. Got a ditch on one side, and then the other side goes up. It tapers. It goes up, and then, like I said, the far side behind the camera is a staging area. So I said, okay, this is picture perfect, because if the buck would come in on this side, I would possibly get a shot. Or if he come in on this side, I would possibly get a shot. So I said, okay, I got my climber in the perfect location. So I went on and put my climber up on Friday, and I brushed it in and sprayed it down with Scent Killer Gold. And I got in Saturday morning uh, about 7 o'clock because I want to barely see the ground. Uh, I don't want to have to go in the woods and pitch black. I don't like that anymore because I don't want to sit in the stand at 4 in the morning from 4 to sun up, and I got deer all around and I can't even see them. So I started going in just when I could barely see the ground. I used my red light on my head and just inch my way to my stand. So I went on and got set up, got in the stand at about 7:05, and just waited. And about 9:15, had a nice shooter, nice 8-pointer. He came in right down at not even the base of my tree. He was like 3 yards, 5 yards from my tree, and sniffing around. And I really believe he knew, well, he did know that stand was there. But I sprayed that stand down with Scent Killer Gold, and I brushed it in. But he was sniffing it. I know he was sniffing it because he came to that location again. I believe he was looking for that stand. But apparently I sprayed it down good enough for him not to spook, because he didn't blow out of there. He was sniffing for the stand, looking for the stand, and then he turned around and walked. But it was real marginal. It was a real marginal buck for me to take. But I was after, I call him Popeye, because one of his eyes don't glow in the camera. I don't know if he was blind. I don't know what happened. I thought he had lost one of his eyes from the previous year, because I've never seen him on a hoof. I've seen him since last year. I've never seen him on a hoof, and I thought he just lost one of his eyes, but he has a strange white reflector thing going on in his eye. I don't know what it is. I think he just went blind in it. I don't know, but he looks like he's an older deer, around about 7. But I mean, he has some bases. I mean, just look at his bases. Check him out. He has some really, I mean, almost like Coke bottles bases, and I've never harvested a buck with antlers that thick. And I mean, he weighed 238 pounds, and that's not dressed though. That's full body. But I had a hard time getting him out of there. But anyway, getting back to my hunt, I'm sitting there watching this 8-pointer down beneath my stand, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh boy! And my bow was on the rack, and I'm looking at this buck and looking at this buck, and he finally turned and started walking away from me. And I did everything I could not to pick my bow up, and I decided not to pick it up, but I just watched him walk off. And I told myself I should have tried to harvest that buck, because I could have got down early, because I didn't think Popeye was going to show up. But the only reason why I decided to get in there Saturday morning is because I seen Popeye on the camera up on the ridge top about 11:30. So I was assuming that he was going to be bedded up in that particular location up on the ridge or in that staging area, and then come down into the creek bottom that morning. So I'm sitting there, and and it's 9:30, 9:45, and then all of a sudden I see deer. He came from my right. Right. I mean, it was textbook. He came, walked down, and I said, okay, that's a shooter. I did not know it was Popeye, because I'm hunting like 22 feet up off the ground, so I didn't know it was Popeye. So I just grabbed the bow anyway, because I knew that he had a nice looking rack on him. So I picked up the bow and looked at him and turned and got ready, and I drew back. And I held it for, I don't know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe a minute, I'm not sure. Then I let down, because he stopped, and I think he caught wind of the estrus, because I sprayed it on like 4 or 5 different trees. I didn't use any wicks, and I still had my dripper out, but I just sprayed it on a tree of about 3 or 4 trees about 40 yards apart. So whatever way the wind would switch, he would, if he was coming, it would possibly catch his nose. So he stopped behind that tree, as you can see. Then he turned around and came down. But before all of that took place, I drew down on him, and then when he started turning, coming in my direction, I drew back again. And then right now he's only at like 12 yards. So I drew back, anchored, and I'm thinking, okay, spine shot, frontal shot, hard quarter and two shot, uh, chest shot. But I had to talk to myself and say, don't shoot, wait, because I do get impatient sometimes because I want a buck, especially the one that I'm after. I want him. I want to get him. So he finally, I mean, I'm anchored in, and I'm looking, and he finally turned, hit the release. I watched the arrow go through his vitals, and I'm sure it was I got artery, and I watched him run off. He only went 20 yards. He hit a sapling. He went 50. He went 10 yards. I actually started stumbling at 10 yards, and then 15 yards he was stumbling over small saplings. And 20 yards he touched down. He hit the ground, and I was like, wow, that was quick. But like I said, I was using a Tacticam cam first time actually videoing on a shot, but the video quality was okay. I mean, it wasn't perfect. It was okay, but the audio was awful. So that's why I'm just kind of recapturing everything. I'm recapturing, that's my puppy over there, old Mac. I'm recapturing the hunt and just letting you guys know, because in my hunt, I can't even hear myself talking. Just barely. I got to turn it all the way up just to hear me mumble. So, but like I said, he was at 12 yards and hit the release, kicked up, ran 10 yards, started stumbling, 15 yards, stumbled 20 yards, boom. I was like, yes. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know it was Popeye because I was so high up. I knew it was a nice wide rack, thick buck, but I did not know it was Popeye until after I got down and walked up to him. And I realized it was him, and I was like, yes, first morning hunt of the whole season. And I was able to put it together because, like I said, I hunted one evening hunt and one morning hunt. That was it. But this is, I think this is the most special hunt I've ever been on, because I took my time. All I was doing was scouting and just let my cameras do the work and let my scents, my Dragon Estrus, just let my Dragon Estrus do the work. And that Dragon Estrus did awesome because it brought in buck after buck after buck. As a matter of fact, I looked at my camera. It's sending me, my camera is sending me pictures right now at that particular location, because I just pulled that buck out of there yesterday morning, and I had bucks come in yesterday about 12:30, and I had my buck out of there about 11, something like that. And the blood secretions and everything that's around now, you would think that the bucks would stay away, but the rut is starting to kick up in Georgia, and normally around the 10th is the peak. And even the deer cooler, he said, man, he was slam full. He didn't even know if he would be able to take my buck yesterday, and I was a little worried about that. But preparation is the key. If you want to get on a buck, like I said, creek bottoms. I just love creek bottoms during the rut, because bucks will, a mature buck. I mean, a basket rack or a spike buck, they use the same locations as those do, but a mature buck, most mature bucks will go down in a creek bottom because they want to get from one point to a next point, another point. So that's how they elude a lot of hunters, is because when they get low down in there, and a lot of hunters hunt high, you can't even see them. But I've learned to hunt creek bottoms on the rut, because that's one of my favorite way of hunting during the rut. I mean, I hunt funnels. I hunt pinch points a lot. I talk about pinch points, but I don't talk about creek bottoms that much. I do talk about them, but during the rut in the right time, you got to get in there at the right time where the weather changes and the barometric pressure go up. Get in that creek bottom and get set up, but you got to get set up properly. Just make sure you know your topo map. Look at your topo map. Make sure you know your terrain, because sometimes buck be over here and you too far to the left, too far to the right. So just make sure you got your stand planted. I'm sorry, you got your stand placed in the right location so you can get a shot on either side. But like I said, that was a textbook hunt. My estrus worked like a charm. It worked. I mean, it worked. It did its thing. I never get enough of saying on how great my estrus works on a buck. I mean, I'm talking about mature buck, because that buck I think he's 7 years old, and he had a huge neck. He got a huge neck, and I couldn't even get my hands around his faces. But like I said, textbook hunt. Preparation is scouting. You definitely got to scout. Scout. Leave less sand as possible, and make sure you got your stand placed in the right spot. Put your sand out, but don't put your sand out. Some guys spray it all over the ground, think it's gonna work. That's not. It'll work sometime, but don't always assume that it's gonna work like that. So I always do, like I said, I put mine in a tripper if I know there's buck activity in that particular area, or if I don't even know if there's buck activity in the area, I find a spot where I know bucks will visit, not have visit, but will visit. But see that like I said, that creek bottom, it's like a funnel, but it's a deep funnel, and they love them. So and that's what I did. I capitalized on that, and I knew that something would come through there. And I had that one 8-pointer come in, and then old Big Popeye, he came in, and I was like, man, and this was 10:10 in the morning where he came through, and I just went on and did what I had to do. So, but like I said, I even got another buck on camera today. This is Sunday, and sent the picture to me, 3 pictures of this other buck that came through, and he's thick. So I'm gonna take a look at him and see what he's looking like, and maybe get in there and try to get him. I'm not sure yet, but I'm taking my time and selecting the right buck for my second shooter of the season. And like I said, I wasn't even really planning on trying to get 2 bucks this year, but if he's worth me chasing, I'm gonna get back in there because I still got my stand in there set up and sprayed down and just making it look like it's part of the natural foliage. But this was a textbook hunt. I mean, it really was a textbook hunt. And I took my old trusty verdicts. With me. And that bow, I mean, it just drops tacks. It drops tacks. Like I said, you can see in the video. And what was so cool about it, I was using my, what was it? The Lumenok. I think it's a Lumenok. It's made by Carbon Express makes them. I can't even think of them. I know they're not the Lumenok, but they're lighter than the Lumenok, but they're used for Carbon Express. So I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But when I hit that release, the knock, it came off there. And like I said, only thing I don't like about the Tactacam, getting back to that, is it picks up all of the unnecessary sounds. That's the only thing I don't like about it, because it's tied to your bow. So maybe next time I'll tie it to something else, or tied to my arm. I know they got all types of gadgets. You tie it to your head. I know they got all types of gadgets like that. I'm gonna look into it and see what I can use other than having it on my bow, because I don't want to hear that thump when I hit the release that's coming from the Tactacam camera, because it picks up everything so close to it versus things that's far off. But I might try another camera later. I'm not sure, but as of now, I'm just playing around with this Tactacam just to see what I can do with it. But anyway, I hope this video helped you. I'm done rambling. And once again, if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I just encourage you to get to know Him, because time is drawing nigh. Time is definitely winding up. It's getting so short here on Earth now, where people just going to get caught up, and people going to wonder what happened to them. But I'm getting my heart right, just make sure I'm straight. And nobody's perfect, but at least be the type of person to be able to say, I'm sorry, God, come into my heart, clean me up, save me from my sins, and get saved. Read Romans 10:9. That's my favorite verse. I have on all my trucks. And because it's sad out here, where you got people just doing a little bit of everything. And I don't even know what most people are doing, but I don't even want to know, because I probably would just bust out crying, because you got so many people out here just doing everything because they're mean-spirited people, because the enemy has a foothold and he has them in a chokehold, and he's just getting in there. A lot of people, I mean, you see it on social media, you see it out even when you go out to the supermarket. Some people get attacked for no reason, because that's the devil. There's nothing else but the devil. But anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I hope and pray that you guys have a safe season as well. And I pray that you all are being prosperous through these trying times, and not homeless or anything like that. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and finish showing you the video. I'm gonna show it from the beginning to the end and let you look at it. It's choppy, but I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. But I'll let you check it out. It's not perfect, but at least you can see most of my unfold. But like I said, he was on like 12 yards, hit the release, kicked up, ran 20 yards, piled up, done. Once again, this is Iceman John Bailey. Thanks again. God bless. Take care.
This is Papa. This is Papa. This is my shooter, the one I came at. Old deer. Old buck. The old buck. I was looking at him last night. Mass. Got a lot of mass. I had an 8 this morning. And I passed it. So I was looking for, I was trying to hope, I was hoping for Popeye to show up. He did. He showed up. I'm done. I might be done for the season. That's a mass. Look at that mass. Look, I can't even, I can barely get my head around his bases. Incredible hunt. This is the first morning sit of the whole season. And I got it done. I got Popeye down. They came from this direction, came from that direction. And I didn't know what was doing. I knew it was a nice hunt, but I didn't know what doing. I gotta get him out of here. So like I said, he only went 20 yards. So this big old buck, big mature buck.